Hey, how are you? I'm SliceofOtaku, and if you somehow haven't already heard, the upcoming Steven Universe video game coming to console, Save the Light, will be featuring a totally new gem as a main antagonist. Now, this is incredible on a multitude of levels, but first off, this is the first time we've received a completely new canon gem outside of the television series itself. Because yeah, the game's story will be a sort of soft canon, taking place before the appearance of Aquamarine and Topaz. But yeah, the name of this gem is Hessonite, and she looks absolutely incredible. Now let's think about that. She is a Hessonite, also known as a grossular, which belongs to the mineral classification of garnet. So in a sense, this is a Homeworld garnet variation. And yes, there are non-fusion gems that share the same name as fusions we've seen displayed in the show thus far. That much is an absolute fact solidified by various members of the crew. This is pretty much the inverse of Sapphire and Padparacha Sapphire. In this case, Garnet is the off-colored iteration, and Hessonite is the accepted, high-ranking one. Which is just insane, Garnet being the current leader of the Crystal Gems, and Hessonite being the main antagonist here. Oh man, this is already sounding like a clash of epic proportions, so I am ready. And I suppose certain aspects of her design, which was devised by Grumpy Face in conjunction with Rebecca Sugar by the way, does actually encapsulate to a degree many of the aesthetic features present in Garnet's design. An afro that begins with a base practically identical to that of Garnet, which extends into a less kept and rounded bundle. Widened hips which extend outwards in a triangular shape, giving off the impression that her stance is sharp and poised, emanating her high social stature. Voluptuous lips, gloves, and a rather expressive unibrow which is reminiscent of your basic villainous depiction. Now let's talk about her accessories. She can be seen wearing a cape, which we've seen the likes of Jasper wear upon her debut, an article of clothing, something gems don't need at all, but is quite clearly an indication that a gem is of high social ranking on Homeworld. And dear lord, does that cape look dope. Next, there's her sword, which is just so great, just so great. But lastly, let's talk about her left eye. Now, I'd love to know what's going on here. Over this eye, she has what I'm going to assume is a triangular monocle, kind of like half of Garnet's visor. But her legitimate eye is red. Mind you, this is not her gem, which is actually on her chest, and there's no way she's a fusion if she belongs to Homeworld. And in terms of designs, this game doesn't feature characters with pupils, so it's likely that this is her left pupil, which is bright red. But if that is the case, then her right pupil is probably white. And an alternate interpretation would be that it might be a scouter of some sort, kind of like the kind you'd find in Dragon Ball Z. A gem-related item which was actually conceptualized and included in the Steven Universe Art and Origins book. And as I was editing this video, I came up with another idea which I think would just be mind-blowing. Maybe this red eye of hers, being a characteristic of her gem type, served as the inspiration behind the actual red eye machines Homeworld produces, and possibly by extension, the Robinoids, which ultimately wouldn't be too far-fetched considering as of the trial, our understanding is that gem destabilizers are an emulation of Yellow Diamond's lightning abilities. Maybe this is what makes Hessonites capable commanders, their ability to assess and survey terrain as well as their very own troops. I'm just really curious what's up with her eyes, and at the very least I will say that it looks really cool on her. Next, let's talk about her personality and the lore behind her. Getting the basic part out of the way, her color scheme looks to be like that of a gem belonging to Yellow Diamond's court, but she doesn't actually have Yellow's insignia on her, which is pretty interesting. But yeah, she for sure belongs to Yellow Diamond. And Hessonite is apparently a Homeworld commander, the commander of another gem this game will introduce, Square Dot. Now, if you remember, in the episode Monster Reunion, my favorite episode in the series by the way, Centipedal's drawings depict her own commander, which loosely bears resemblance to our friend Hessonite over here. Now, was her commander actually a Hessonite? I mean, probably. I don't see why they would make the two look so similar without them being the same gem, because then that would just lead to unnecessary confusion. But is this the very same Hessonite which formerly commanded Senti? maybe not, but at the very least, I will say that her gem placement is the same. But if she is, we better get something related to that in this game, because honestly, I'd scream for anything centipedal related at this point. But aside from that, Hessonite is apparently the owner of White Light, the final boss of the first game, Attack the Light. In that game, White Light takes on the shape of Steven at the end, which seems to remain in this game. So I'm curious how Hessonite will react to that. And yeah, if it wasn't apparent by me saying that just now, we attacked the light in the first game, and with this, we now know who will be saving the light from. And Hessonite actually descends to Earth in a massive upside down pyramid of a ship, and I mean nothing really crazy there besides it utterly destroying Greg's car wash, which kinda trips me out because this is once again sort of canon, and the dude already lost a sign, but whatever. When she first appears in the story, we actually get to hear her voice, and she is just so posh, so snooty, and I love it. I'm really hoping for her to be rude like Peridot in her prime, but even more so due to her high placement in Homeworld society. And guys, Steven Universe Save the Light will be available for digital download on October 31st with PlayStation 4 and November 3rd with Xbox One in North America and Latin America. And when other regions will gain access to this is still to be announced. And on Tumblr, Grumpy Face has expressed its interest in porting over the game to Nintendo Switch and PC in the future, but we don't yet have a date for any of that, so if you're interested, just keep an eye out. And if you're wondering what I plan to do with this game, man, I really want to play this game with you guys, whether that be with a series of videos or live streams, but unfortunately I'm currently in the process of moving, and so I won't be able to until sometime in November. If you're still interested in seeing me play it despite having to be a bit late, let me know, because at the end of the day, I think it'll just be a really fun experience regardless. So please leave me your thoughts on that and just everything Hessonite in the comments, everything Hessonite. Thank you all so much for watching and have an awesome day. I love you.